So what's going on today?
So today the kids are working on their Ozobots. They're coding, it's simple coding, but not only is it coding, it's problem solving. And that's the biggest issue. They're having to work through things that they think should work and they don't. They have to figure out why things don't work and fix it. So Katie, I want you to show us where you started with this and tell us not only about your coding, but what did you have to solve? What kind of problems you have to solve to make your track work?
Well, we had to do a lot of practice tests on all of these papers. We had to do a ton of practice tests, and then this was we only got to finish that part, and then this is our final draft.
Why don't you show them all of those little notes that you have to yourself?
So this is go straight because he can't turn over here first. He has to go like that. And then this is a U-turn, right turn to go over here. This is a left turn, go straight. This is a U-turn to turn around. And then this will go straight, so he'll go over there. And then just like that through the whole pause part.
Sometimes they don't even know what their problem-solving skills, what they're gaining here. She's telling you the directions that they're going, but what she's forgetting to tell you is all the times that it didn't work, they had to figure out, well, if this is the right code, why isn't it working? Is the line too thick? Is it, we gave him a U-turn and he had to go back across another code. Now it's a backwards code. Did that mess him up? So there's all kinds of thought processes that they had to go through to figure out how to make this, especially this one, work, where it's a cursive writing where it had to go back and forth across the same track 2 or 3 times. This one was very complicated. Katie, what do you think was the hardest part of your track?
The hardest part was if you mess up, then we had to kind of use like whiteout, or we had to figure out how to like solve that problem. Because if we right here, we had to put it right here, but then it accidentally put right there, so then it can't turn right here because it was all the way over here when it's supposed to be over there.
As far as the problem solving goes, how does this translate into all other aspects of their learning?
So in math, this helps them to see, you know, if I don't get the answer right the first time, I need to try it again. There's a way to solve this. How can I do it? It gets them to grow their perseverance.
And how's your perseverance now compared to before you started this?
It's a lot better because we had to figure out all kinds of different ways to solve it. Like right over here, we had to use paper and put tape over it, and some we used whiteout, which wasn't the best.
This group took their Leaning Tower of Pizza and they created a little land where the bot had to go through tunnels and make U-turns and all kinds of things. So this was another problem-solving track.
So we messed up a lot of times on other tracks. We had like tracks like first we tried making a SpongeBob. Then we tried making a teddy bear, but then Miss Wilkes said it was too easy, so we tried something else that was harder. And then the next thing we tried was 9 plus 1 equals 10. But then we messed up a lot of times, and we thought instead of a 9, we should do a 6. And instead of adding it, we should subtract 1. And then we made like 6 minus 1 equals 5 here. And since this track worked, we decided this would be our final copy. And once we finished the track, we decided to add other things to it to make it look like a city of math. And over here, it's like a math river. And here, it's like a leaning tower of pizza.
Fractions. So show where it actually says the 6 and the subtraction.
So here is the 6. It kind of looks like a G because like we put the U-turn here instead of like here. And then here is the 1. Here's the subtraction sign. And then the equal sign. And then the 5 is over here.
What do you think of this whole thing?
Well, at first I thought it was just going to be a fun little learning activity, but I didn't realize at first when we started this how difficult it was going to be. And although they all started with very easy tracks, once we learned the codes and got a little more comfortable, they really took it to another level. It wasn't just, follow the black line, make it turn colors. Now it was following really difficult tracks, making U-turns, going across the same one, making sure that the codes forwards and backwards meant different things. So they really did above and beyond what I expected them to do. So boys, what do you think the biggest thing is that you learned from using the Ozobots?
I think the biggest thing that we learned was that perseverance leads to success, and that if you mess up, you have to try again to succeed. And we first we tried it, and then we thought it was too hard and we couldn't do it, but then we kept trying and we finally made progress and we finished it.
Why is perseverance important?
Perseverance is going to help them with their entire life. They're going to come across issues in their whole life, and once they know that they can succeed, if they try and try again, they'll have more self-confidence and spread it across their whole life.
You guys believe that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this group, they're doing a great job. They have a very complicated track as well. As you can see, and I'll let you guys explain this, but we're having a little bit of frustration on this one. You guys want to show how you're going to work through your frustrations?
Yeah. So at first we were going to do Huntington Beach and then CA for California. And then we didn't have enough time, so we just did Huntington. And then we did some little loop-de-loops over here.
The first time we tried, we messed up on our T because this T got too close to the I, and all the codes, they weren't working. So then we started over on the back, and it was working better.
What did you do different on this side to make it work better?
Well, we knew what we did wrong on the back, so then we tried to make everything better on the front. Like right here, on this side, we did the H. We did the H like this, and then we forgot to do a turn left. So then the Ozobot would go this way, and then over here on the T, all the codes, they were too close together. So he would read one, but then he would go to another one, and then he would just stop because he couldn't read all the codes too fast.
You want to show what he's supposed to do on
Yeah.
the good side?
This T sometimes works, but it usually doesn't. And so we did
give 'em a
this
try?
one. Oh yeah, I'll do this one here. So we go in here, and then that's a turn left. It's supposed to go in there. And that goes in here, goes up there, and then that turns around, and it goes turn left. And that's a nitro because it's all open. We could just do that. And then it's supposed to go straight over here.
Yeah, but Ozobot usually, computers, they only do what you command them to do, and if you don't do it too neat, then they don't know what to do, so they just do their own thing.
So what have you learned about coding? When you're coding something, when you're coding a computer, what is it important to keep in mind?
You need to keep your work neat, and you need to tell the device what you want him to do.
And you want it to be very neat because if the lines are too big
Or two.
or too small, it won't follow it. It'll just stop and it won't know what to do. And if it's less than a 90-degree angle, it won't do that either because it just doesn't read it. So
What's the biggest things this group has learned from doing Ozobot?
we've learned
You need to keep on trying through failures and just keep your work neat.
Do you learn more by doing things right the first time, or maybe making a mistake the first time?
Making a mistake and then
Trying again.
Yeah.
What have you learned about keeping your work neat in other places, not just with Ozobots?
That's a good question.
Does that carry over, your idea about neatness to other areas?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that before?
Well, if you're writing an essay and then you have super messy writing, but you have a good mind and you can write super good, then your teacher, they won't know what you're trying to say, and then your credit wouldn't like go into your grades.
Okay, so I have one other really funny question. You refer to this as him.
Yeah.
How did this become a him?
Well, we call him Ozzy,
Yeah.
so I just think
It's
of
actually mine because I bought it.
Okay, so it's your own personal?
we just call every Ozobot Ozzy pretty much.
We started with one Ozobot for the class that I purchased, and then within a week, 2 kids had brought one in that they had purchased, and then the next week, 2 more kids brought some in. So now we have a whole bunch that they're using in class, which is really cool. They really enjoyed it.
Also at the Miss Jennings, she bought 18. So on Thursdays, all the kids can go into the library for recess and code with the Ozobot.